Order, Speaker.
Order.
Item 2, resumption of debate on the Constitution of the Republic of Singapore Amendment Bill, second reading.
Mr. Lewison.
Sir, the bill proposed to establish a Judicial Service Commission, JSC, separate from the Legal Service Commission, LSC. The restructuring will allow both the LSC and JSC to benefit from greater specialization and flexibility. This is needed to tackle the increasing complexity of the legal landscape. Our legal system and judiciary are greatly respected for impartiality and efficiency in efficiently dispensing justice. The amendments will help us to maintain the good standing of our legal system. I have 3 points of clarifications to make. My first point is on the independence of the LSC, the PSC, and the JSC. The public placed great trust in our institutions. Results released in March this year from an IPS study show that 81% of the public had a great deal or quite a lot of trust in the government, 82% said this of the courts, and 80% said this of the civil service. In the 2020 World Justice Project Rule of Law Index, measuring the rule of law in countries, Singapore was placed 12th out of 128 countries. The Rule of Law Index looks at, among other things, accountability and open government. In the 2019 World Economic Forum Global Competitiveness Report, Singapore was ranked 14 out of 141 countries for judicial independence. It is very commendable that we had such high levels of trust locally and internationally in our public institutions. We should work hard to maintain this. My clarification is on how we can safeguard the good reputation of our public institution by ensuring independence of the JSC, LSC, and PSC. There are some concerns that the proposed articles may mean some overlap among the commissions for the LSC, PSC, and JSC. For example, the chairman of the PSC will be the vice president of both the LSC and JSC. The PSC will also advise the President on the appointment of up to 2 members of each on the LSC and JSC. It will be good if Minister can share some safeguards in place to ensure the public can continue to have high confidence in the independence of the LSC, JSC, and PSC. My second point is on recruiting a wider range of talents from beyond the existing legal service into the JSC. In July this year, my colleague Mr. Murali Pillai delivered an adjournment motion with Mr. Christopher D'Souza and Mr. Lim Bao Chuan on the feasibility of setting up the JSC for judicial officers. In his motion speech, Mr. Murali spoke about the flexibility the JSC may have in recruiting a wider range of talent. He gave the example of how someone with experience in programming who is taught law may be able to navigate the technical facts of a case much better than a legally trained judge. I echo these sentiments. Additionally, the 3 members spoke on the benefits of the movement of judicial officers and legal service officers across judicial and legal service branches. Such rotations are beneficial for the officers and the respective branches. That said, I think we can all agree that it is important for the judicial service to be staffed by officers from a diversity of backgrounds beyond the legal service. Recruiting talents from diverse backgrounds will help with responding to increasingly complex and specialized cases before the courts, and also for maintaining trust in the judiciary's independence. Can ministers share the plans to diversify the talent pool of judicial officers within the JSC? Lastly, under the new Article 111D, an appointed member to the JSC may hold office of 3 to 5 years and is eligible for reappointment. Under the new Article 111L, an appointed member to the LSC may hold office of 3 to 5 years and is also eligible for reappointment. Both articles do not set out any limits for such reappointments. Limits on reappointments are not uncommon in private and public institutions. Such limits steer institutions towards leadership renewal and organizational changes. Can Minister confirm whether there are limits on the reappointment of any members to the LSC and JSC? If not, can Minister share the rationale for not limiting the number of reappointments that a member can hold on both the LSC and JSC? So notwithstanding these clarifications, I stand in support of both bills.